Okay. Oh, we are live now. I'm like, do we need to give it a second, or it's live? Hey, we are live. I'm here with Desmond. I'm Tina Desiree Berg reporting live. We are in Toledo, Ohio. This is day 7 of the United Auto Workers strike. Currently, we are outside of the Ford plant, which is Stellantis. It's one of the big 3. So I wanted to first, Desmond, you were talking to me about how the fact you are one of these, what they call temporary or supplemental workers. You've been at this job, though, for 4 years now. How do they justify still calling you a temp worker?
Well, temp workers, just what it means, I guess. I mean, we come in for full-timers, supposed to get days when so they could get full-timers off. I mean, it doesn't go like that all the time. Some days I get maybe 1 or 2 days a week. Try to get 3, but usually I can't even get that. So, I mean, it's tough being a SE, but, you know, hopefully with this contract, you know, everything could change. That's what we're rooting for.
So, yeah, I do want to ask you about that, too. So my understanding is that they have 5 different tiers of pay for the same exact job. So you have, you know, temp workers, you have people that have been at the plant 20 years, pretty much doing the same work, but the difference in pay is huge. I think you mentioned to me that you're getting $17 an hour, which is that's not high pay. You can't make ends meet on that.
No, you can't. I mean, 4 years. I've been in 4 years, so I'm topped out at 19 right now. You know, yeah, they have SEs come in starting at 1568 or so. That's not enough money. I mean, this is automobile plant. We build cars. I mean, McDonald's hires for $16.
Right.
I mean, so things need to change. We need action.
And you're originally from the Michigan area, right? And you mentioned to me
from Detroit.
So you came down here to work here at the Stellantis port?
Yes. I came down here 6-7 years ago, and I got a job here at the Toledo plant. Been here for 4.5, and I haven't got an opportunity full-time, but it's coming. It's coming.
And you also mentioned to me, and I think this is a common theme that we've heard the last few days. We've been down here, Jordan Sheraton's been down here talking to workers at some of the other plants and on the other side of this one. But a common theme that we're hearing from a lot of you folks is you've had to take a second job in order to make ends meet.
Yeah, I had to pick up an extra shift, actually a couple of different jobs, you know, just to make ends meet. It's kind of tough living off maybe 2-3 days a week. Supposedly some days I used to get 6 when I first started. Things just dropped. So yeah, we're hoping for better things, better wages, better contract.
So I wanted to bring up some just labor, Bureau labor statistics data that I was looking at yesterday. So since 1978, CEO pay has had an increase of 13. You can hear everybody honking as they go by in support. 1,300% increase in CEO pay. And auto workers in the last 2 decades have seen a drop of almost 20% in pay. So when these guys say it's untenable for you to ask for any sort of increase, let alone the one you're asking for, that seems to be very disconnected to me. What seems untenable to me is the fact that they keep giving CEOs massive increases in their pay year after year after year. That is untenable. Where does that stop? Yet you're not entitled to your fair share of you know what your labor output is creating. That doesn't make sense. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts, it needs to change. CEOs should not be making that much money. We are the workers. We are a union. This is what we do, build the cars. I think it's very important that you keep us around.
I agree. You know, another thing that they say, or they try to say, is that it's unskilled labor, which is nonsense. Obviously, what you do is very much a skilled labor job. I doubt your CEO could come down to the floor of this plant and run the machinery that you run. So what do you say to folks that have been told this idea that it's unskilled labor, we don't need to pay them a living wage, they're already paid too much?
Just try working here for a week. Trust me, you wouldn't want to do it. Different tools. I'm on different lines every day. Door line for finals to driving the cars off the lot. I'm everywhere, trim. So just try working for a day or two and see how your hands and feet feel.
A lot of workplace injuries occur too. Like I think a lot of you folks have issues with carpal tunnel syndrome. I think I've heard some. Have you had any injuries yourself?
Yeah, I had a couple of injuries, but you know, I still go to work because, you know, I still have to make ends meet. With no good health insurance like that, you know, it's hard. So
Yeah, no, it is hard. You know, that's another sort of separate but similar issue that the country is facing. Oftentimes people get stuck in their jobs because of health insurance, right? Because our health care is tied to your job, you feel like you can't leave your job for a better job or for a different job simply because if you do, you lose your health care. This is something that I think a lot of corporations have been able to use to keep people in line. What are your thoughts on that? And what's something like, you know, when Bernie Sanders talks about Medicare for all, what is your thoughts on that?
I agree with Bernie. We all need insurance. Companies should not take that as an advantage just to keep us as employees. So.
No, I agree. So for you personally, there's a list of things that Shawn Fain is asking for in the new contract. For you personally, what is a priority? What is one of the things that you definitely want to see pass through this contract?
I want to see for the SEs, for us to get rolled over, maybe see a little profit sharing. We do a lot of, 9 times out of 10, we do a lot of the work. Full-timers want vacations, and we appreciate that. We don't divide each other. SEs and full-timers, we stick together. We just want better pay, same pay, profit sharing, better insurance.
Yeah, and that's a common theme too. So part of the benefit for the corporations in having the 5 tiers of pay, obviously, is that they save labor cost money on the lower paid tiers of workers. And I think another thing that they utilize it as is a way of sort of creating a lack of morale or unity with workers, right? So they want to maybe build resentment with the full-timers that are getting paid sometimes double what you are. It seems to me that has not been effective. I see a lot of the full-timers have been out here basically saying we need to get rid of the tier system. It's not fair. Do you think that that's the case?
Yeah, I think we should get rid of the tier system because, for one, that's part of that divides the company, workers, and we don't need that. I mean, everybody's here to do the job. Some of us do the same jobs, and you know, I don't want to be working to somebody else who's making $20 more than me, and we're doing the same job. I mean, I think tier level should end. So.
And you feel like the full-timers support that too, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
It definitely seems that way to me. They don't think it's fair, and they're saying so, which is good. That builds up team unity. More folks are driving by and honking as we're out here in front of the plant. So what other thoughts do you have on the strike? Message for America. You know, one of the things that Shawn Fain said, Jordan interviewed Shawn yesterday, one of the things that Shawn said that stuck in my head was that in the past you have a lot of union bosses that would tell their union members not to talk to the media. And actually in some unions that still occurs, that's still common. And an unintended consequence of that has been that corporate America's messaging has gone out to the media. Talking points, not necessarily grounded in fact or truth, have gone out to the media and been reported on. And I think your average American in the past has had a very unnuanced opinion of union workers based on that, right? Because they weren't hearing directly from the workers. You know, sometimes you'll see them make the point that union workers are already overpaid, they're just greedy, they want more, they're going to make more money than I do, kind of a mentality. But the reality is that's not the case. $17, $19 an hour is not high wages. No. So do you think it's good now that workers are opening up, that Shawn's saying, yes, go talk to the media?
I think it is good because America needs to know how companies are. We're in this together. We're not trying to, you know, we're not out here just asking for money that we're not supposed to get. I mean, we're do this. We work through pandemics. We have helped these car companies develop into the billionaires, trillionaires they are. So I think we need our share, our part. So America, if you hear this, support the unions, your local unions. Support us.
Excellent. Thank you, Desmond, for talking with us. I appreciate it. Stay out here. Stay strong. John, do we have other people want to talk to us yet? Are you guys going to be too shy to talk to us?
I'm a G.
You are the original G. You OG. He is the OG?
All right, I'm done, man. That was 20 minutes time.
So I wanted to point out a couple things, though. Since we started live streaming down here at the UAW strikes, we've gained 100 new members with Status Coup, which is great. I don't see any other media out here doing this. You'll see guys come by, maybe grab some video, take it back to the studio and regurgitate some talking points. But I think if you really want to understand what's happening in America right now, not just with the United Auto Workers, but across all of labor, across America, you need to talk to the workers and get their side of the story. I think a lot of people aren't necessarily clear on what the underlying issues are. And then once they hear them, they understand why these workers are out here asking for, 30-40% increase in pay. They've given up 20% of their pay over the last 2 decades. So in order for them to just be flush with where they were at previously, that would take a 20% increase in pay. And now we have cost of living, which was eliminated. They're not getting that. They're asking for that back. They should have that. And, if you can get a job working at Taco Bell or McDonald's, for $17 an hour, why would you take a job at a union shop where you are required to do much harder, more difficult work that can be hard on your body for the same amount of money? So you would think that at some point the CEOs of the big three would sort of have a reckoning with the fact that they need to pay workers more if they want them to stay on the job, if they want to find skilled people that can do the job. And they don't seem to be hearing that messaging. One of the things you hear corporate media talk about is that the CEO pay is connected to performance, right? What they don't mention is what they mean by performance isn't necessarily long-term growth of the company, long-term stability of the company. It's tied to the short-term stock performance, and that's a different sort of metric, right? That has a tension with long-term value sometimes, because what's good for the company in the long term isn't necessarily going to juice the short-term stock levels. Thanks, Desmond. So, when it gets tied to that, you see a lot of stock buybacks. One of the things that Sean Fain mentioned yesterday was that there has been a 1,500% increase in stock buybacks over the last couple of years. That's crazy, right? So that's basically the company taking its profits and buying back shares of stock so that there are fewer shares on the market, which drives up what's left. So that has nothing to do with how the company is going to look in 10 years, how they're going to keep and retain much needed, trained, skilled employees, none of those things. So there is definitely a disconnect that's going on. It's not just with auto workers. It's not just auto companies. It's corporate America. They are... they're going to have to deal with a reckoning, I think, that's been a long time coming. And I think in a lot of ways you could have like a through line from like midterm Obama presidency through the Bernie Sanders campaign to now. It's been a slow burn towards workers rising up and saying enough is enough. We need to make decent wages. We can't afford rent. We can't afford food. We'd like to have time off to actually enjoy our lives. A thing that came up yesterday, I think, is Sean Hannity. On the show, some of the workers got booed when Tim Scott came on. And what they were booing was this reference to a 32-hour work week. But other countries have 32-hour work weeks. Australia, for example, I looked up, the average work week. Australia has a 29-hour work week. A lot of, countries in Europe, Denmark, Sweden, whatever. This is normal. It doesn't seem strange to Europeans, but it is to America because we've been sort of spoon-fed this diet of, this puritanical idea of work hard, work hard, work hard, spend many hours at work. That's how you have value. That's, what you need to be doing. So there's a shift coming. So down the ways, what they have basically is strikers at various locations around the side of the plant. So, all right, one last opportunity. Does anybody want to talk to us? They're all smiling and being shy. No? Are you sure? No, you. No. All right, so we have some shy workers here that don't want to talk to us. We're going to mosey on down, I think, John, to this other section over here. and we'll see if we can find some folks down there to talk with. All right, thanks. Have a good day, guys. Status Coup? Are you sure you don't want to talk to us? We've been out here interviewing you guys all week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, I'm all right.
You're all right? You're all right? All right. All right.
Have a nice day.
You too. Okay, so we're going to walk down now.
Read out some emails.
Let me pull up. Yeah. See if we've got any. Hang on, guys. Let me pull out my phone here. I can eat, or I can walk and chew gum at the same time. Also, we're being told that there's a convoy coming down from Michigan today to this plant here in Toledo. I want to mention that Sean Fain will be doing a live stream tomorrow on Facebook. I believe he will be announcing more strike locations. So when he does that, we will probably check out whatever those locations are on Friday. And then we'll be going to the Wayne plant later today. All right. Okay, so he didn't text it to me. He sent it in an email. Hold on, guys. I got to open up my email. Hopefully you have internet out here. Hang on. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to read out a list of website donations. Let me just say we appreciate the support. Obviously, we don't get money from corporations to do what we do. We are entirely funded by you, the viewer. So every time you guys join as a member for $5 a month, it helps us. It helps pay for this trip. Any little donations you can give us, we appreciate. So we got $20 from Mark. Thank you. $5 monthly from Kathleen. $50 from Dale. $50 from Paul. Keep up the good work. Viva UAW. We have $30 from Monica. Keep up the amazing work. $20 from Anthony. And $20 monthly from Barry. Wow, that's great commitment. Wish I could support your work more. No, that's very helpful. We appreciate that. I'm retired, but still heavily engaged with mostly Ural Street Theater, the Glover Connection activity in peace. Well, thank you, Barry. We appreciate that. All right, so we're approaching the next strike location. I'm gonna run down here to see if we can get some folks to talk to us. It's quite warm today here in Ohio. It was a little bit cooler in Michigan. All right, here we have one of the burn barrels. The burn barrel. So, would any of you guys like to come and talk to me? We're interviewing workers out here. Status Coup.
That's the team leader right there.
Come talk to us.
You can take any questions to the union hall. The union will answer questions down there.
We interviewed Sean Fain yesterday, actually, but we've been out on the picket lines for the last 7 days interviewing workers,
Yeah, well, today's our first day out here, but I don't think anybody's going to want to talk on KC.
Nobody's going to want to talk to us?
No, I can't. Or just told if they don't want to talk to you, to send it down to the union hall. They'll answer your questions.
Okay. So I'm being told that this is their first day out, and he doesn't really want us to talk to them yet because it's their first day out. I do want to pull over or span over and get a shot of this vehicle. It says stand up on it. So this is the stand up strike. So, part of Sean Fain's idea is to do the first round of strikes and then build out from there with more locations, using that as leverage, right? So he didn't announce what the original list was until it happened. I think it was kind of crazy that CNBC said that they had the actual list of strike locations from a good source. They went ahead and published that list. It turned out absolutely none of those locations were accurate. So, and we're going to add to those tomorrow, so we'll see where those are at. All right, so then should we go around to the other? All right, so we're going to mosey on back this way, and I guess we have to drive to the next. He said because this group is their first day out, that we should direct our questions to the union hall. He's the team captain. I'm not going to. It is what it is. All right, so we are going to head back this way. While we're doing that, I wanted to sort of give some other updates on things. I think it's important to understand where we're at in the country. So we talked a little bit about the CEO pay, how outlandish it is. I mean, that's a common talking point. I think people realize now that $20 million a year is a crazy amount of money. But I want to give some sort of context to how we got there. So way back in 1965, the ratio from worker pay to CEO pay was merely 20 times more. 20 times more. Now it's almost 400 times more, just to give you an idea of how outrageous that is, how much it's grown. So when these guys say that it's untenable to give workers a pay increase, that's actually it's not true. Even if you took, 5% off of the CEO pay and gave it back to the workers, that would be helpful. And I don't think it's outlandish to expect something like that. So this is kind of a list of what the CEOs are getting paid. We have Mary Barra is making $29 million. She gets talked about a lot. That is 360 times greater than median wage at Stellantis, or at GM, pardon me. At Ford, we have Jim Early. He's getting $21 million. That is 281 times more than the median employee. And then at Stellantis, we have Carlos. He is making $24.8 million, and that is 365 times greater than the median. So that's not even in range that makes sense. Let's see what else. So historically speaking, this is also the first time you've had the UAW go out on strike against all big three at the same time. So that's historical. We talked about the 5 different wage scales that they have for the same job. This is the tiered system that they installed. It's unfair. It's ridiculous that somebody in the lower tier is doing the same exact job as somebody in the higher tier, and he's getting, double what the first tier is getting. It doesn't make sense. All right, so we're back at the original strike location. I think do we have to get in the car, John, to get to the next one? All right, so you guys are about to take a ride with us because we're going to get in the car and drive around to the front side of the plant. We can also maybe shoot a little bit of video outside the car window so people can see the plant. Oh, I need to drive? Okay, hang on. Let me... Hold on. Here, take that. You want me to hold that while you open the door?
No, it's okay. Sorry, guys. We need a few minutes to get in the car and get over to the next location. Hold on one second. Talk, they can probably hear you.
Okay. Let me readjust the seat for a second. All right. Okay, we're all situated here. So we're going to be driving around to the front. We're at the Jeep plant currently. This is one of the Stellantis locations. They make Jeeps here in Toledo, Ohio. This is day 7 of the strike. All right. So if I put...
Did you stop the car?
Yeah. It's on, isn't it? Oh, you push it twice? Oh, so one is the... All right. Okay, we have to be careful pulling off this curb here. Here comes a car. All right. It's always an adventure here at Status Coup. All right, we're going off the curb in 1 second here. Okay. Sorry. All right. That's great. All right, so we're driving around the Jeep plant right now. This is one of the Stellantis locations. Again, we're in Toledo, Ohio. This is day 7 of the strike. So basically they have groups of workers stationed at multiple entrance around the plant. They work in shifts of 6 hours each. So they'll come in and they'll do picketing for 6 hours, and then a new team comes in, they trade that off and they do 6 hours. Sean Fain is doing a Facebook Live tomorrow morning, which I believe he is going to announce expanded locations on. So I'm guessing, here we go. So we're pulling up to much larger group here in the front. You can see where the Jeep sign is, Chrysler. So, should we park here? On the other side, I guess?
Yeah, on the other side.
All right, so...
So pull into this driveway here, on the left.
Yep. Much bigger group here. Hey, we're back! There'll definitely be some folks over here that will want to talk to us. Should I just pull over there maybe? Oh, no, that's cold there. We don't want to get stuck in that.
Go in there. Go in there.
Okay. It's wild how everybody just parks on the... All right. Location number 3. And then we push this to twice? Yeah, wild.
Oh, you start it up again, turn it off. Just push it once.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. Modern technology. Let me grab. You have the key? Do you have the key? Looks like we might have another news crew here, actually. All right. How do we safely... Okay, after this guy, I think we can cross the street. All right, thanks everybody for sticking with us through that little drive here. We have a much larger pool of workers on strike here, so I'm sure we'll be able to find a handful to talk to. Let's... Yeah, we should go now. I actually am a union member, but...
Okay, cameraman, get back over there.
I'm union. John wishes he could be union. Does that count? How are you?
Who y'all with?
Status Coup. You want to talk with us a little bit?
What you want to talk about?
I want to talk about workers' rights. I want to talk about you, what you guys are doing, why you're out here, more importantly. What's your name?
Darnell Hayes.
Darren?
Darnell.
Darnell. Nice to meet you, Darnell. I'm Tina. So, first of all, tell us, what is your status? How long have you worked here?
Well, my status is a line worker. I've been with the company for a decade now.
Okay.
So that's how long I've been here.
So the big question, obviously, is are you a temp worker or are you full-time? Like what?
I've been blessed. I got hired in full-time.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here for over a decade, full-time. But, we're out here for what we're asking for. We got a good president. I believe everything he's saying, and we're fighting for it. There's no bend to it. We're going to get what we're asking for. We're not asking for a lot. All these multi-million-dollar CEOs are getting what they want. They get to live the life they want. If they even want to retire today, they're good. They're set. So we just want more than good. They're set.
They just need 28 yachts. That's what they're waiting.
Listen, I never even been on a yacht, so.
Neither have I, to be fair. But you're not wrong on this. So the CEOs are making, 28 million, 23 million, 24 million. Right. Most of the time they're making over 200 times what your average median worker is getting paid here at the plant. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is they have these tier system of pay, which seems incredibly unfair. People doing the same job, but there's 5 different pay scales depending on what kind of an employee you are. How are the big 3? How have they been getting away with such a crazy scheme?
I mean, I wish I knew the answer to that, but yeah, it feels like sometimes it's 3 different tiers, and it's unfair. But it's a good business strategy for them. Because they know that, you know, if we could keep these tiers, not pay them pensions, not pay them a certain pay scale, retirement, medical, we can keep making money. And that's why they have these pay scales, so they can keep making money, making profit for themselves.
No, and that's a good point. If, for example, if they decrease the CEO pay just by 5%, which would not be, I don't think that CEO would even notice the difference in pay, quite frankly. Their pay scale is so high. But that 5% could be going to workers. So for them to say it's not tenable to give you what you're asking for doesn't seem to be entirely valid. What do you think?
Well, even if you don't take away their salary, they already raised the vehicles in prices where people like us can't afford them. Give us the money they're making that they increase the vehicles for no... Give us the money that they increase these vehicle prices for no reason. Give us that money. You know, we're not acting to take their money away, but the money that you're making to put in your pockets or to make facilities overseas that shouldn't be overseas, give it to us.
Tell me a little bit about that. That's not something that anybody else has brought up. No, let us talk about that. I think that's an important point you're making.
You want to keep taking these profits and make them, and I'm going to call them what they are, plantations overseas, so you can make those people make less amount of dollar. That's what they want to do, and no one's talking about that. They want to keep building facilities in Mexico and Italy and China and not pay us, the workers. We're not asking for a lot. We just want time to be able to spend time with our families and able to work and not pay bills, but work, pay bills, and make a savings. That's all we're asking for.
I think that's a reasonable request. You know, one of the things that the Bureau of Labor Statistics had on auto workers, one of the things, that's awesome. One of the things that they were saying was that adjusted for inflation, you folks have seen a decrease of 20% about in your salaries over the last 2 decades.
Yes.
So now you run that by the increases that the CEO pay has gone up. And obviously there's just a very large disconnect. And this is true of corporate America across the board, not just auto workers, right? So I think right now we're seeing an increase in labor in the country because everybody feels like they're in the same boat. We can't make ends meet. Rent is increasing. Food is outrageous.
Like,
we need to...
It's cheaper to buy a home right now than to rent a home. And that's because a lot of people who have money cornered the market. They bought homes, and now they want to rent it out to you for $3,000 a month instead of you can buy it for $1,800 a month. Listen, if you got money like these CEOs and stuff, they can do that type of stuff, you know, and they can afford to. And all we're asking for is, like me, I'm tier 2. I'll never reach tier 1 with the system they got set up. There's no 30 and out for me because I don't get a pension. So when I have to work basically until I die. And if I do, and then all we're asking for, like us, COLA back, pension, and medical when we retire, and equal pay. That's all we're asking for. And they act like it's a lot because the rich doesn't want to go into their pockets. They want to keep getting rich. That's what they want to do.
They do. You know, I want to talk about that and tie it sort of back to what you mentioned earlier about not being able to buy one of the vehicles that you make.
I've been here for 10 years. And I can't afford a Wrangler. These Wranglers you see coming out, I can't buy one of those.
Actually, John, let's get a shot of that.
So I mean, my team right here, we put on the tires, we put on the doors. You know, we do a lot to that vehicle, and I cannot purchase one of those vehicles. And a lot what this company has done, they raised the price of these vehicles not to pay us, so they can receive more profits, and we can't afford them.
What's happening right now with these vehicles coming out of
So this factory over there, well, it's called Argus, and what they do, they put a lot of detail and final touches on them after they leave our facility. And like that vehicle going right there, that's a $90,000 vehicle. I'll never be able to afford right there. That one right there, $70,000 vehicle. I can't afford.
Neither can I.
Right. So not only has this company forgot who they're selling the vehicles to, because if I'm walking around making $500K, $200K a year, I'm not buying that.
Right.
They forgot who they're selling them to.
That's right. All right. So let me make a point on that because you're correct. Our broader economy is mainly driven by consumption, right? Our capitalist economy is driven about two-thirds by consumption, meaning that the economy only grows when people are consuming.
Spending money.
and spending money. So it's a key component that people need to be able to spend money. And I think even Henry Ford understood that. I mean, Henry Ford had a lot of faults, but he was right on this. I want my employees to be able to afford the cars they make.
That we make.
So we're going to pay them well, right? So at what point, my constant question is this, at what point do these CEOs, do the plutonymy, the wealthy 1%, at what point do they realize that there's very little expendable income left for the broader economy, and that consumption is going to end up failing? Because if you can't buy widgets, who do you sell the widgets to? You've destroyed your consumer base in a way. So they don't seem to be understanding that.
Right.
There's like a disconnect.
Well, that's a question you have to ask them. Like, I wish I could tell them. I mean, they're getting their money from somewhere. Maybe they're getting it from the people in the stock market. But I think they really have forgot who they're selling to. But there are people buying these vehicles, especially like we're here with the #1 company of Stellantis, Jeep Wrangler. And they know that people buy these Wranglers. But the thing is, like you said, people with a lot of money won't buy these. So and then they get 70, 80,000. And a lot of it's to do with electrification, right? Yeah. They want to push this lie about global warming, which is a whole nother thing. So the government is telling them, like, hey, this is what y'all have to do. You got to electrify your vehicles. And then they want to justify it by raising it 37% to these vehicles. No one can buy these vehicles. We can't.
I want to talk about EV for a second, because I feel like the CEOs are sort of making this a talking point, and I don't think necessarily it's a main issue. I think it's, you know what I'm saying? It depends on where you live in the country. So in California, for example, there's a lot of electric vehicles. You can charge your car for free. A lot of the charger stations are powered by solar. But what I would like to know is why the UAW, or what their plans are, I should say, not why, to go in and unionize those shops. I think that needs to happen.
Well, you know, like on a political thing, is that those companies should have been UAW off the rip.
I agree.
But that's when Biden dropped the ball at, so that's on him. Shut down the pipeline as soon as he got in office, union jobs. So that's a whole nother thing. Right now we need to take care of home, and then we'll tackle that. We're going to do what our country doesn't do. We're going to take care of home first. You know, I understand what's going on in Ukraine and stuff, but we want to send $6 billion to them and not take care of people in Hawaii. One thing we fail to do in our country is take care of our country. I don't know why we don't do it. So our president, he's doing right. He's taking care of home first, and then we'll tackle those. Because with those electrification vehicles are mandated by the government, that's not even with the company. The government is mandating that.
Yeah, I agree.
Government's pushing that. But until that, they got people working terrible wages there, and round the clock, 7 days a week actually work, 10-hour shifts. And when it's time for us to ask for a day off or vacation off, we can't get it. Okay, so we're just trying to fight for what we're asking for. We pray that we do get it. It's a life change for me. If I get what we're asking for, it's a life change. I know they make $24 million a year, but to me, if we get what we're asking for, that's my $24 million a year. You know?
You're asking for a reasonable. Do you see this?
Yeah. He's a paraplegic. He's okay.
I love it.
It's okay.
What is it? Did it say no Jeeps on the back of the truck?
Yeah.
Is he a union worker, or is he's out here in solidarity? Oh, I love it. So he's driving around the outskirts.
And when you think about it, our country's been built nothing but on union.
100%.
When you think about the buildings, all these CEOs, they're in a comfortable office and doing that. Remember that union built those offices. Union built the vehicles that you drive to get to work. We do it. And we're not asking for $500K a year. We're asking for what we're asking for. So that's all, man. We want fair. Just want to be fair. We want to spend time with our families. We want normal hours, 40 hours. Look, 32, 40 hours a week. They're going to get their vehicles. We work hard, you know.
What is the average? What is the average hours worked right now?
70.
70.
Between 50 and 70 hours a week. That's what we work. 2 shifts. That's what we do. That's what we do. And then you got to have time to find time with your family, kids, wife, husbands, whatever. There's no way you can make a marriage work working 70 hours a week. And second time you. But there's no way you can make a family and marriage work, and that's what is more important, the family. 70 hours a week, there's no way.
It's crazy to me that so many Americans think they don't deserve a quality of life.
We do. Well,
Absolutely do.
Look at the rest of the world. You know, Germany, what would they work? They get
32 hours.
What do they get? 3 months, 6 months old?
They get 6 weeks of vacation a year, paid vacation.
Yeah.
Most of Europe gets 6 weeks paid vacation.
And what y'all see, because y'all never been in, I wish we can have the CEOs work where we work at.
Oh, yeah. No, wait.
Because they'll quit in a week.
You guys set that up, and we are going to come and film your CEO try to make that machinery work.
They wouldn't even let y'all do it. But my thing is, it's like people don't know what we go through throughout the week and how we do things and how much of a toll it is on you.
Yeah.
So,
no, I do. Okay, but this is why we are out here interviewing you folks. You know, we talked with Sean Fain yesterday, actually. One of the points he made...
Hey, Sean, man, text me, man. You ain't text me yet. Hit me up, Sean.
One of the things he mentioned was that in the past, union bosses have told their union members not to talk to media, and that one of the unintended consequences of that basically was that the corporate message got out, but your side of the story wasn't getting out, and people were getting, you know, they would listen to the talking points about how you're just being greedy, you're already overpaid, you're asking too much, you know, you're lazy, whatever these, you know, bullshit things that they would say.
Yeah, well, you know, like I believe everything Sean Fain, I'm right behind him. There's some things I won't speak on because I don't know. Right on. But when it comes to like making money, you know, unless you've been in our shoes, you can't relate. You can't relate. And that's to anybody. Like, who am I to tell a mother, like, childbirth is easy? You know? If I haven't been in your shoes, I can't talk about it.
Right. No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems reasonable to say, I want a living wage, I want to spend time with my family. That's it.
I want to be able to go out to dinner. I want to be able to have a vacation and not worry about, do we have enough money to pay for the lights and things to be on? You know, and that's all. We're not, like I said, we're not acting for $500K a year. We're acting just be able to live, work, and breathe. That's all.
So one other thing I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned that you are second-tier pay.
Yes.
I feel like there's been a lot of solidarity between the 5 tiers on getting rid of the tier system because it's unfair.
It has to go. Okay. The tier system has to go. And our president is fighting for us for that. It has to go. It creates hostility, which we don't need in a place like where we work at. We don't need that. We just need one pay scale. And we're all for it. One pay scale.
So I think the new contract, he's asking for like a 90-day gap.
90-day. If you're a TPT, 90-day straight in, you're hired as full-time. Because we have TPTs out here that have been working the line for 7 years and still not fully employed.
Wait, 7 years?
7 years.
We spoke with a couple that were for 4 years. 7 years, that's crazy to me. Obviously, this is not temporary if you're there for 7 years.
And people who know the history of Stellantis, Chrysler, Fiat, Jeep, this is a 30-year and out. But now we can't say that. I came in 10 years ago, and I can't say I'm going to be gone in 10 years. I'll probably have to work until I die, you know? And then, you know, and we get injuries from this company to where after 20, 30 years, you can't go out and get another job, you know? And then once you walk out, you're done. No medical, no more money. That's it.
Right. And so, of course, I have to ask one more thing now because it's on my mind. Politics. I feel like both parties have sort of not been paying attention to labor. You have one party that is hostile towards labor, and you have another party that's not hostile towards labor but just gives it lip service. That when the time has come to actually follow through on what the lip service is, there isn't there. I think a prime example would be the railroad workers going on strike. Biden interfered in that and didn't let that happen. I don't think I'm crazy to say that if there's a law that allows the president to intervene in airline and railway worker strikes. He's not able to interfere in yours because that law doesn't exist for auto workers. But a part of me sort of thinks that if he had that ability, he would. And so how is it that both parties really aren't looking out for labor in one way or another? They're just not.
Well, it's not voting season yet, is it? They only come around when it's voting season. Now on the railroad and all that stuff, I can't speak on it. I don't work there. But it's funny how they'll jump in when it's going to stop their money from rolling. But they don't jump in when it's about the workers.
So I mean, you're right. They will come down here for a photo op.
Oh, yeah, voting season, they'll be down here. That's any of them, you know. They'll come down when it's voting season, when they need votes. Go throw lies in everybody's face, and as soon as they get in office, you know, go 180. So
it's very frustrating. Anyway,
that's my answer to that stuff, man.
But you're not wrong. I mean, it's something that we see time and time again, right? Yeah. So they give lip service, but when it actually comes to supporting the PRO Act, which would have gone a long way in Congress, that didn't happen. So there's all these glaring examples of how Congress could change things for the better, where they could hold. Instead of saying it's the workers that have to give way and agree to something, why can't they turn around and say to the bosses or to the corporations, you guys are the ones that are going to give way this time?
Because money stay with money. Money stay with money.
It's very simple, isn't it?
That's easy. That answers that. You know.
Right on. Thank you so much for talking with us. Appreciate you.
That's awesome.
All right, let's see who else we can talk to.
Hey, man, yeah, go ahead.
I'd actually, are there any of the 7-year temp scale?
Yeah, my man Jordan right now. I don't know if you want to talk, but he's been here. He's a TBT right here with the hat right there. He's been here for 7 years, but I don't know if you want to talk.
Do any of you guys, would you like to talk to us? I'd like to interview some of the temp. No, are you being shy? No? Come on, Jordan. Come on.
They want to hear you talk.
Jordan.
Where is Jordan anyway?
Jordan went back home for
did he?
a few days. It was his birthday on Wednesday. I'm Tina. Nice to meet you. You want to talk to us again? I think you talked to Jordan a couple days ago, right?
Well, I subscribed to the channel and
Oh, right on.
I was asking him to come out here.
All right on. Will you talk to us live right now? Because John's right in front of us. Are you a Status Coup member?
Am I what?
A Status Coup member?
10 years?
A Status Coup member.
Yeah.
Right on. So here we have a
Yeah.
striking worker that is also a member of Status
Sorry,
Coup.
it's hard to hear.
Oh, no, I know, with the trucks coming by, too. So what is your story? Are you a full-time worker, temp?
I am. 10 years, 6 months.
Okay. So you were hired in as a full-time worker and you didn't have to go through
I
any...
was not.
Okay. So
I started off as a temporary at a Dundee engine plant back in 2012, November. I worked about 2 months and was laid off. So then they called me back in February and offered me full-time at Trenton Engine, which is in Trenton, Michigan. And
How
then,
long of a drive would that be?
well, I live in Trenton, Michigan,
okay.
so it was ideal
That was
for me.
ideal then, yeah.
But yeah, but then the Trenton Engine had shut down the north plant. They have two sides, a north and a south. So when they shut the north down, I didn't have enough time to stay at Trenton Engine, so I was moved, or I was laid off for about a week, and then I got picked up by Toledo Jeep.
Okay.
So I've been here since December 2nd of 20.
So long time.
I don't even know, 22.
22. So in all of those years, how much has pay increased for your average worker here, if at all?
Not very much. Not very much. As you see on the news, I mean, our president's, 6% and over.
Yeah, 6%. So when you adjust that for inflation, you're actually losing ground. It is crazy.
It's hard. It's hard on a lot of folks. I'm here to fight for just pay, equal rights for temporaries. As you know, I wasn't there at the 08, 09 crisis, but a lot of people lost a lot.
I mean, they had said to you guys back in 08, 09, you need to do this, otherwise we're all going to go bankrupt. We promise we're going to give you back these concessions at a later date. That's, of course, never happened. Every time they say we're going to give you your concessions back, don't believe them. It's never going to happen because they want to keep their profits. They want to keep their high salaries. They want to get away with what they can get away with. That's sort of where we're at in the country. I wanted to ask you about, some of the CEOs are now coming out publicly and saying that they're going to, shutter plants and start laying off workers. Do you think that's an empty threat? What are your thoughts on that?
I believe that is one of the scare tactics that they pull. They've got a lot of money. They need to start sharing, and that's just the bottom line. The numbers don't lie. They do not lie.
They act as if they are, on the verge of bankruptcy here in 2023, when reality is they have record-breaking profits across the board. So for them to not come to the table and say it's time to give back some of these concessions is patently insane.
Exactly. The CEOs of all these big three. I mean, that's ridiculous. They do not. I mean, I'm sure they work hard. I'm not going to say sitting behind a desk. Okay. They don't deserve. They're already millionaires. Come on.
They're just preserving their own capital. They are not adding enough value to the company to justify a $29 million paycheck. That is.
Well, it's just corporate greed, flat out, man. Corporate greed. That needs to stop. This is what this fight is about, to end this corporate invasion, man. It's not fair. It's not fair.
We were talking about earlier in the live stream, back in the late 60s, early 70s, the ratio between median worker pay and the CEO was around 20 times higher. Now it's almost 400 times higher. Over the last few decades, this massive.
In the meantime, our wages have been stagnant. They have not moved very much. Not to keep up with inflation, for one. I mean, it's insane. You go to these grocery stores, all the Home Depots, anywhere you go, you look at the price tags, and you're like, geez, oh, Pete's, these people are banking.
I know, right?
They're making all the money, and and a lot of people, they need some of these items, and they have,
just basic groceries. And you're making a good point here. There you go. This guy giving high fives to the workers as he comes by. All of that inflation, for the most part, is profiteering. As companies charging more per item because they can get away with it, and that's what's driving this inflation. So oftentimes you've seen sort of old school economists try to make the case that wage increases will lead to higher inflation. That is completely disconnected from reality. We're seeing it right now, right? Wages have been suppressed for decades, so the opposite has happened, and we're seeing record high inflation that the Fed feels like they keep having to ratchet up, interest rates to control. So clearly there's a disconnect here. I'm not going to get into a longer conversation on MMT or any of those things, but these are just sort of taken for granted lies that have been fed to the mainstream media that get regurgitated over and over again. But I think your average American is starting to question that because they see it in their day-to-day lives, where I can't buy a dozen eggs for less than $5 or $6.
Right.
And I'm making the same wage I did 20 years ago.
Mighty, mighty union.
They want me to start dancing. I'll do something.
Everywhere we go, people want to know. We tell them.
We are the union.
We are the union.
Mighty, mighty union. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them. We are the union. Mighty, mighty union. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them. We are the union.
To smash the like button, share the stream.
All right. This is Tina Desiree Berg. I am live on the ground here in Toledo, Ohio. We are in front of the Jeep plant. I'm talking to union workers. Please, subscribe to our channel, share this live stream, hit the like button, make sure more folks tune in and see it.
Hard work should not pay for your fucking vacation out. This is ridiculous. Volkswagen pays their workers twice what we make. Twice what we make. And they're arguably one of the #1 auto manufacturers in the world. These people are stealing from you. They're stealing from the TPTs, they're stealing from the full-time workers, and they are stealing from our skilled trades. This ends now!
Rowdy bunch over here, which is great. Lots of energy. Where were we? We were talking about eggs, I think.
These folks here that just showed up, they're from 372 local in Trenton, Michigan. They're supporting us from Trenton Engine, so
right on.
That's pretty cool.
So Trenton Engine is a different company, not related to Stellantis.
They build the engines.
They build the engines.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So some solidarity across the board.
Across everywhere.
So I believe tomorrow Sean Fain is going to be announcing an expansion of the strike locations. I know he's doing a Facebook Live. Do you have any thoughts on where that expansion is going to be, where it would be effective?
That is a question that probably all the big three would want to know, because of the strategy is just
Well, funny thing is, you're right on this. So I remember right before the strike happened, a guy at CNBC on Squawk Box said he had a good source in the union. that he knew. Yeah, he knew what all the locations were. He announced all these locations.
UAW.
None of them were correct.
No, that was brilliant. That was so strategically planned, and I applaud our president.
It was good because it led to one of the facilities on that list moving parts from one of those locations into one of the locations that ultimately did go on strike.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And
Sean Fain is playing chess. They're playing checkers.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful game. A game of chess. I mean, this is corporate war. This is corporate war. So you have to play. You know, like a
no,
king.
you're not wrong. You know, one of the arguments they say is that this is class warfare, and my thing is like, well, yeah, but it was started by the billionaires.
Exactly. Of course.
I don't think that that's a controversial statement at this point.
No, it is not. It is not. Corporate greed's been going on for decades, and it needs to stop.
I agree.
Needs to stop.
So, who else wants to come talk to me? You guys are from Chanting Engine?
Hey, Status Coup, man. These guys are legit, man. They're for the working
I like
people.
you guys, but I'm too shy.
These guys are legit.
Are you guys with the Chanting Engine?
Yeah, we are.
So you're
All of
just
us.
here.
Me, him.
Okay.
Another guy. I don't know where he was, but there's 4 of us. That
Are you part of the convoy that came down here from Michigan then today? I know earlier they mentioned.
We work here at Toledo. All of us do.
Oh, okay.
No, they're local union, local 372 people. There was a treasury here.
Oh, I see over here.
They're part of the.
Actually, one thing I do want to ask you about, because I'm looking at this sign, and we haven't talked about this today. I know we've talked about it on Status Coup before, but COLA. I mean, that's just cost of living. You guys gave that up in the last 2008, 2009.
Yeah, we cannot keep up with inflation with our wages. We cannot. So you're looking at 19-20% inflation. They want to give us whatever their offer was. When they start giving you lump sum payouts, that is not the way to go.
No, it's the reason. That's right. The reason they do that is because they know with COLA that's going to go up every year. It's a guaranteed.
We don't know what it's going to be next year, of course.
If they give you a lump sum, it's that one.
Man, it could be 30%.
And they can fight you on that 10 years.
So we still lose.
You still lose.
Either way. So that we do not want lump sums. We want a straight out COLA pay, cost of living allowance I don't know how they would do that every quarter, every half year, or throughout our contract. We need to have substantial raises throughout our 4-year contract. So
I agree. All right. Thank you for talking with us. And also, thanks for being a member.
Thank you.
It's great to talk to both a union worker and a member. We appreciate that. It's so loud sometimes. We appreciate that. Let's see. Who else? Don't get hit. Yeah. Who else should we talk to?
He's the president of Trent.
Ah.
Engine right here.
Are you okay to talk to us a little bit about Trent Engine and supporting the strike?
Sure.
Okay. So, what is your name, first of all?
My name's Dave Gerby. I'm the president at Local 372 for Trenton Engine.
Right. So, you guys are out here today.
We're out here supporting our brothers and sisters out on the strike line. They're out here striking for us, for every UAW worker, and we're down here supporting them.
So, question. Tomorrow, I think Sean's going to be announcing some expansion of locations for the strike on his Facebook Live in the morning. What are your thoughts on that? Are you in agreement with this new strategy that he's using as opposed to having everybody go out at once?
Yes, I am in agreement with President Fain. We are behind our union leadership and the decisions that they make. How this affects Trenton Engine, we don't know yet. But I can say this, Trenton Engine is a plant that's on the, I would say that they're talking about of possibly being a warehouse in the future. We've been around since 1952. We built 45 million engines out of that plant, and the members don't deserve that when this company made $12 billion in the first half of this year. But our membership has to walk in that plant and worry about if that plant's going to be around a year from now or 2 years from now.
So I was reading that they're threatening to close down multiple locations, warehouses, turn them into warehouses. Also, they're now threatening layoffs, which seems crazy to me. How can you lay off workers when you have them working 70 hours a week on double shifts? Obviously, you don't have enough skilled labor to fill the jobs that you need to begin with. Is this just a scare tactic?
I think some of it's a scare tactic. Some of it could be because the strike is starting to affect them with parts going to the plants. We haven't talked about layoffs at Trenton Engine as of yet. But again, Trenton Engine has always been an important part of any company that we've been owned by over the past 25 years since I've been with Chrysler. And
so does Stellantis own Trenton Engine?
Yes, Trenton Engine owns Stellantis. This is our new owner of the Chrysler Group, as I call it. We build the best quality engines out there in the United States for Stellantis. We are deserving of product. The workers at Trenton are deserving of product. We deserve it. 45 million engines come out of that plant, quality engines, since 1952. So this right here shows that not only do we need product or job security, but we need our wages raised. We took recessions back or cuts back in 2009. We lost COLA. We got a 6% raise over 4 years. Inflation went up 18%. And they made $12 billion over this first half of the year, but they're talking about closing 18 facilities.
What's really twisted to me about this whole thing is they keep saying that what the workers are asking for is untenable, that it'll bankrupt the company. Yet, since, the late 60s, early 70s up until today, you've seen CEO pay increase 1,300%. It seems to me that what's untenable is that. How 1,300% is an insane increase in pay, especially when you're looking at, auto workers over the last 2 decades, adjusted for inflation, more or less around 20% of a decrease. So which side is untenable?
I agree. They make 500 times more than the hourly auto worker make, the CEOs do. They keep getting raises, but they expect us to take concessions on the union side. They want to cut. We were told that each plant's being told they have to cut 10% a year for the next 5 years to save costs so they can build EV. So they want us to take concessions because 10% cut out of a plant means hourly workers. They want us to take concessions while they keep getting raises, and now they're 500 times more. They get paid a year than what we do.
Right.
Makes no sense.
You never see them saying we're going to cut our own pay
No.
to keep this plant open.
No.
I mean, it's outrageous that has become sort of the normal thing in corporate America. It's not just with auto companies. It's really across the board. This has sort of been normalized in a sense. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they've been able to get away for it so long. Labor's been asleep a little bit, I'm going to be honest and say that. I'm also a union member. We kind of were told, fight another day. We'll get it on the next thing. And not enough workers were willing to actually go out on strike and stand up for what they believe. But I think things have gotten so bad now that there's absolutely no wiggle room here. There's no choice. It's do or die.
Absolutely. Like I said, we took concessions back in 2009. We allowed them to do a tier system. We got rid of COLA. They got rid of pensions for hires past 2007. These workers at this plant, at my plant, and every plant are deserving to get a good wage, have a good living where they can support their family on a 40-hour paycheck. Pensions, no more tiers. Tiers divides the union. We need to get the tiers out of there. We're all one. We should all make the same wage.
We've talked to a lot of higher tiered workers that pretty much are in solidarity with what that message is, even though they're the ones that are making the higher wages. They don't think it's fair that they have union brethren that are doing the exact same job for half the pay. It's messed up.
Yeah, when we have temp workers that work at this facility, I don't have any at mine, that work for $17 an hour and get called at night saying report in the morning, or they drive out to the plant and then they're told to go home. It's unfair. How do you expect someone to be able to raise a family on that kind of a wage with no medical insurance? It's ridiculous.
So the temp workers don't get medical?
They do not get medical.
That's insane.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So not only looking at much lower pay, or no benefits then. So, and obviously if you've been working at a plant 4 years, a guy over here 7 years, you're not a temp worker. That's outrageous to say you're a temp worker still. Like, that should be illegal in my opinion.
Right. That's why President Fain and the union's trying to get back to 90 days. After 90 days, hire them full time.
That's it.
That's how it used to be. That's the way it should be again.
I agree. So let me ask you one last question. There's a list of things that Fain is asking for in the contract. In your opinion, what are the top two most important things that you need to have in order to seal a deal?
Job security. I mean, like I said, my plant is 2025, no product guarantee. So job security, we can have the best contract in the world, but we got to have plants to work in. So job security is foremost for me as president of Local 372 and for president of Trenton Engine. And I want to see everyone making the same wage. I want to see people working across from each other that value their job. And the way you do that is by having them make the same wage, give them the same benefits. Then they feel a part of the company. Right now, a lot of these temporary employees or these non-legacy employees don't actually feel part of this company because they don't have the same as myself as a legacy worker. Right. We need to all be on the same page. Right, we're deserving of what President Fain's asking.
I agree, and I think you made the point of that it sort of creates tension between an animosity between workers. You got one guy. What's going on here? Okay, I thought maybe that was a scab coming in or something. You know, if you've got somebody making double your rate and you have no health insurance and you're doing the same job, it would be normal to start feeling a little bit of resentment. I think it's good though that resentment right now is being correctly directed at the managers, right? Absolutely. At the plant owners, yeah. At the CEO, et cetera, because that's who you should be angry with, right? It's not your coworkers' fault that that's what they decided to do.
True. We took concessions, but management has not brought us back whole since 2009. So now we're putting our foot in the ground and making a stance. It's time to make us whole. You're making this billions and billions and billions of dollars. It's time to give back to the workers, not just put it all in the CEO's pocket.
So how long do you think the strike will go till?
I don't know. I hope it doesn't last long, but we'll stand behind our president as long as we need to. Absolutely. We're out here fighting for a reason, and it's a damn good reason. So
I agree. He was elected. I think this is the first time you had a one-person, one-vote sort of thing without the delegates. Yeah. Do you think he would have won if it had been a delegate election? He seems to be very popular.
He is very popular. That I don't know. But like I said, no matter whether you voted for President Fain or not, we all need to come together. What you're seeing is solidarity because we're all one and he's our leader. So we're behind him 100%. Thank you.
Thank you for talking with us. All right, so Trenton Engine, who is out here in solidarity, they are on the list of locations that might be closed down. I know Stellantis had come up with a list of possible locations they want to shut down. Obviously, they're also threatening layoffs. So is General Motors. I think maybe a lot of that might be scare tactics to get, concessions in the negotiations because clearly they don't have enough skilled labor if they have people working double shifts as temp workers, right? Can I get it right? Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Do we have more? Right. I'm going to check. Is there any super chats yet we should check in with? Right, let me check in. So make sure you guys share our live stream. Let's walk over here for a second.
Hey guys, stand strong.
All right, here we go. All right, so we have super chats. Michael Petty for $10. Thank you so much, Michael Petty. $10 spot for the Coup crew. Really appreciate the hard work you all are doing out there. Thank you so much, Michael Petty. We have a new website member named Brian. Thank you for joining, Brian. Membership is what runs our channel. We obviously don't take commercial, corporate money, pardon me, and we are able to get out here on the street and doing what we're doing because of membership donations. So if you can afford to become a member, please do so. You can do so on the website. You can do so at YouTube, whatever your preference is. We also have a new YouTube member, IE Union Activists. So welcome YouTube member IE Union Activists. Earlier we spoke with a actual Status Coup member who is also out here on the strike line today. So that was kind of cool. John's going to see if he can find some more folks to talk to. We have a bigger group over here on this side, so I'm sure we'll be able to talk to some of these folks. But, just to give you an update, tomorrow Shawn Fain is going... So in case folks didn't hear that, they just said UAW made baby. I think he's going to come back and do, oh yeah, look at that. Just to give everybody an update, Shawn Fain is going to be announcing new strike locations on Friday, which is tomorrow, yeah. So John and I are going to be checking that list in the morning, and we're going to spend tomorrow afternoon going to as many of those new locations as we can and speaking to workers. A common thread that we're hearing out here is basically that the tiered system needs to go. This is 5 tiers of different pay for more or less the same job. They want to replace that with what they had before, which would be a 90-day probation period, where after 90 days you are now a full-time employee. That seems reasonable to me. I also think. Are you guys doing shifts? All right, they're going to trade out some of the old raggedy signs for new signs. Another thing that they're talking about is the fact that the temp workers aren't getting health care. That's crazy. So you have employees that have been working, 7 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they're still on temp pay, without health insurance. That doesn't seem reasonable at all. And meanwhile, in the same period of time, you have, CEOs and upper management see massive increases in their pay. So there's good reasons for these folks to be out here. I think they're going to be out here until they get most of those concessions. Everybody seems to be willing to do that, whether it's a few days or a few more weeks, a few more months. We have some other media out here today. So is there anybody else that will? Nobody else? Should we walk down to this other? So, all right.
Right here. Oh, that's them? Okay, here we go, baby. We got one. Here they come now. Y'all get that convoy going.
All right, this is the convoy from Michigan. All right.
They're the Broncos. That's the Broncos.
All right, so this is a UAW convoy from Michigan that's out here supporting the workers.
It's the Wrangler knockoff.
The Wrangler knockoff.
The Wrangler knockoff.
There's only one, baby. There's only one.
Yeah.
No Broncos! No Broncos! No Broncos! No Broncos! No Broncos! No Broncos!
Let's go!
Oh, that was nice. I like your pink highlight.
That is nice. UAW 900.
Yeah! Okay, I like you in the middle. Cool. Yeah!
So that is UAW Local 900 that came down to support from Michigan.
We'll take you to.
I'll tell you.
Hey, cut that one out. That one can't go.
No, that one's staying in. That's.
No, that one can't stay in. No. That came from buy here, pay here.
Hey man, they can't afford an upgrade. They're not paid enough to buy a new one.
More coming?
All right.
Shit, we got another one.
So is
No
this?
more buy here, pay here.
So we have a second convoy coming now, behind the semi truck, I believe.
God damn, I ain't got no space on my phone. All right, here we go.
We haven't had a convoy since Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah. Burnt Reynolds, hashtag. Shout out to Burnt Reynolds. Shout out to Burnt Reynolds.
Okay.
Yeah. Love that, man.
Oh no, it's awesome.
You gotta love that.
Awesome.
All UAW brothers and sisters. You gotta love
I mean, and these are at facilities that aren't on strike yet.
This is a whole nother facility. This is way up in Michigan. They come down and support us, you know? Yeah. You gotta love that, man. It shows that we're together.
Yep. a very large group.
I don't know about you. I don't know about that one. We finished it up with the Wrangler at the end.
And a Wrangler at the end, yeah.
Yeah, you see it.
So you were saying that that's a brand new shop? The Bronco shop?
Yeah, the Bronco shop is up in Michigan, yeah. So they come down to support us, Local 600. Yeah. Gotta love that.
You gotta love that. They're coming down. All right. Who else do we need to talk to? Let's see if we can find a couple more people to talk to.
Got it?
No?
Oh, man, he finally you in. Oh, all right.
Sorry, man.
I'm officially,
You're officially inducted.
You're on our way.
Well, how long are you out here for?
So I'm out here till Sunday. We'll be back probably, well, depending on where the new locations are, we want to make sure to hit up whatever's added to the list tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know what's next, but we're behind our president. So we're here. Oh, we don't know what's next. We're behind our president. We don't know that stuff, but we trust his leadership, and then we're going to keep it going. We out here until it's time to go back in. Until we get what we're asking for, we'll be out here. Every day.
So, the guy from Trenton Engine was basically, we were talking about how GM and Stellantis are sort of threatening to close some of the plants down now, threatening to lay off workers, but it seems to me, just superficially speaking, if they're having you folks work 2 shifts a week, paying overtime into that, they don't have enough skilled labor as it is to be laying anybody off. How does that make sense? Is it just a threat?
I mean, they're going to lay them off probably because their factories aren't being fed. It's not like they're going to threaten them for their livelihoods. If they want to lay them off and pay them unemployment, that's on them, And, that's up to them, It's not like they're doing it by choice.
Right. Let me mention this. In California, in the state of California right now, there is a bill that I believe will probably be signed into law by Gavin Newsom, but it basically would allow striking workers to collect unemployment, which I think would be a game changer for labor. So that means when you're out here on the strike line, you wouldn't have to worry about running out of a strike fund. You can go ahead and collect unemployment as any other unemployed person. Do you think that's something that should catch on, that would be helpful?
I mean, that's something that the state of California wants to do, but I'm in the state of Ohio, so,
Right, but don't you think Ohio, I'm saying, should that expand across the country? It would help, wouldn't it?
Me, honestly, what I'm looking for is for these people at the top just to, hey, look, give in to us, and we're not asking for a lot. Let's get this economy going, because at the end of the day, this hurts our country. Yep. At the end of the day, if we don't work, we don't spend money. If we don't spend money, then the inner city crumbles. What we need to stop doing is letting these people take factories outside our country. We lose jobs, cities crumble, and that's.
Let's talk about that. I know you mentioned that earlier. NAFTA was a devastating bill for labor in the United States. Hugely devastating. So NAFTA was a bill that was originally, put forth by Bush. So it was sort of a GOP-led bill, but he couldn't get it passed through Congress. So Bill Clinton was able to come in and do that. So this is the uniparty at work, to put it one way, right? So the areas where they greed was a good Freudian slip there. Corporate greed, right? That's an area that they agree upon. But I think NAFTA has led to some of what you're talking about right now.
That was a brilliant part. They want to take these factories. What we have, 63 factories closed in over 10 years, shipped overseas, and our government does need to step in when these plantations go across seas and they want to bring the vehicles over here. NAFTA them 100%. We want to charge you 100% to bring it back over here. These are American jobs. They need to stay here. They need to stay right here in this country. You want to come over here and sell your stuff over here? It needs to be made here. And, that's what needs to happen.
And the reason they did that is because they could get cheaper labor overseas. And now they turn around and use that against you, right?
And that's the thing, man. Especially with my history, you want 400 years of free labor. Now you want cheap labor, and you want to take it over to the Philippines and to Haiti and to China and to Mexico.
Form of exploitation,
Right.
let's be honest.
It's the same thing of, this is why, like I said, call it plantation. This is the same thing of modern day slave mentality, slavery. That's the same thing. You want cheap labor. And, and that's what they want to go oversee. That's when our government had to step in and stop that. We're not making $1,000 an hour here. We're just asking for fair wages. And what our president, our UAW president, has put on the table, it's not a lot. It's what we're asking for. It's what we're fighting for, and we're behind them 100%. And we're going to be here until it's time for us to go back.
Right on.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, thanks for talking to us a second time. We're gonna walk down there and talk to some guys down there. But man, peace. Oh. Be safe, man. Be safe. We'll probably see you tomorrow.
Hey, yeah, I'll be out here. Yeah, let me know if you want to get a food place.
Right on. Okay, we'll come by
Straight up on us, man.
on the way out. We're parked there.
Okay, I don't know if you like pizza. It's a place. Nice dog. Live music, I'm telling you, it's good.
Sounds good to me. All right. Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
You guys want to talk to us, or are you camera shy?
I'm camera shy.
All right.
Thanks, so.
Good luck.
Yep.
We got a burn barrel over here. Okay, so we're going to mosey on down to the next gate where we have more strikers. We just saw UAW Local 900 come through with a Bronco convoy. That was really cool. So they're from a facility that is newish, is what he was saying. That particular facility isn't on strike at this time, but they wanted to come down here and show their support. So make sure.
We have about 700 viewers, so tell them to keep hitting the like button.
That's great. So we have about 700 viewers. That's awesome. I was surprised to see some other local media down here today, which is good. That means they're going to get some coverage that way. But really, we're the only ones out here on a daily basis talking to these workers. I think this work is important. I think America needs to hear their side of the story. Often when you turn on cable news, the only side of the story you're going to hear is from the corporate entities that put out their, talking points, that the workers are greedy, which is not true, obviously. So it's good to hear it firsthand from these folks, what they're going through and why they're out here today, what, the reasons that cause them to say this is the time to strike right now. And I think it is. I mean, we've seen an increase in the labor movement over the country in the last couple of years, slowly been building up. And the caravan's coming back? Oh, yeah. You can see the caravan in the distance there. So I think the Bronco caravan's going to keep driving around the plant today. Here's the guys that were doing the donut. Were you able to get the donut on screen? That was kind of wild. Please make sure also to share this live stream with everybody so more viewers get to see it. Make sure you smash the like button. Here's the Bronco caravan. We are going to stay live out here today as long as we can, talk to as many workers as we can, whoever wants to talk to us. Hello, how are you? this is still the Bronco Caravan. So they're chanting "No justice, no Jeeps," which is sort of a take on a standard protest chant of "No justice, no peace." No justice, no Jeeps. They're dropping off water. It's a very hot day out here. So they're dropping off bottled water for the strikers out here. They've been chanting "No justice, no Jeeps." By the way, that is a very clever slogan. As somebody that regularly covers protests, I had a good laugh at that. It's a good one.
We're working on another one.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no Jeeps. That's great. So please make sure to continue sharing our live stream. We're going to be out here all day talking to workers for as long as we can. Sean Fain is going to be announcing some new locations tomorrow. We'll be hitting those up as well. But right now we are in Toledo, Ohio, at the UAW strike at the Jeep facility. And this is a Bronco Caravan from UAW Local 900. They are driving through and around the facility to show their support. That one's not a Bronco.
Exhausted.
Would you guys be willing to talk to us? We're going to do some more interviews with workers. You guys are all so shy. We want to tell your stories. Do you think there's anybody here that would want to talk to us?
She already did. I broke in.
Hey. You see the guy with the face mask? He down good. The guy with the face mask, see him? You might want to.
Okay.
His name's Aaron.
Aaron?
Aaron.
Are you
setting him up?
No justice, no Jeeps.
He might do.
Are any of you guys willing to talk to us on camera? Are you willing to talk to us on camera about the strike? Are you with the UAW or family?
I'm one of the TPTs here. I'm out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we can hear after the caravan's passed, we'll be back again, no doubt. What is your name?
Josh. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Josh. I'm Tina. So you are a temp worker here?
Yes.
How long have you been working here?
Almost about 2 years. October 14th will be my 2-year mark.
And so you're obviously paid less than the full-time workers. What tier would you be at for that period of time?
I honestly don't know on hand. I'd have to look.
It's crazy. There's like 5 different tiers of pay for the same job at this point, and that's one of the things obviously Shawn Fain is asking to get rid of. It used to be the case that you would have a 90-day probation period and then you'd be a full-time member. That seems fair to me. What is the main reason that you are out here, though? What's your personal story on this?
I just want to help out my fellow workers. I'm just here to help them out and see if I can do something for them.
Right on. So what do you think is the biggest sticking point of the negotiations so far? Like the one thing, if you had to pick, that's the most important?
Just equal pay, if we've been here for, like, let's say temp workers have been here 8 years and they're still not hired in, that just doesn't seem fair.
It's not fair. Let's be frank. It's not fair.
No.
It's absolutely absurd that that's the case. And I feel like the companies are sort of using that to divide workers, but it's having a backlash effect. People see that it's not fair and they think it should be done away with.
Yeah. It's just being out here, it shows that we're willing to do something instead of just standing around not doing anything about it.
Right. Exactly. What words do you have for America if they want to understand strikes better? I think in the past you've had, not a lot of union members talking to media, and the unfortunate unintended consequences that, you have corporate America getting a message out that's often not entirely accurate, right? So one of those things they say is that you guys are being greedy. That's obviously ridiculous. $17 an hour is not a high wage.
If you want to get something done, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you've got no other options, this is it.
Somebody that hears that talking about point about you guys being greedy or unskilled labor, what do you say to them?
It's not about greed. It's about getting what's deserved. Right. If we've been here the same amount of time that these people have been here, we deserve the same kind of pay.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for talking with us. What was your name again?
Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that.
Yep.
What, you have family here? Can you talk? You want to talk? Is mom?
Yeah,
Mom? Can we talk to your son? Do you want to join us? I don't want to. I'd like to talk to him, but I want to have a parent present. That's the right thing to do. Okay, so you...
Let me introduce myself. Yes. My name is Lontiera Carter. The person you were just talking to, he does actually belong to my team. Right. My son, he's injured, and he understands what this means to me because I've been working at this job since he was 2 years old. So... He broke his wrist.
Had some injuries working here, right?
I definitely do. He broke his wrist yesterday playing football at school. So he is out here to stand with me today because he was in some pain.
Owies.
And I allowed him to skip because he's here for the solidarity. So
solidarity is good. This is a good learning experience. No justice, no Jeeps.
Jeep.
No justice, no Jeeps.
My daughter is here as well. She doesn't have to be on the camera.
So are you? You are obviously full time then, not temp. You were here before 2008, 2009. Were you here for that?
I have been here since 2014. That's when I started as a.
So after that negotiation,
yes.
It's crazy to me that they were able to install this tiered system that has been just so deeply ingrained now that it's got to go.
I honestly thought I would never see nothing like this. Like I said, I've been here since 2014. The first time we were supposed to go on strike, they delayed the contract and it got fixed and we got back to work. So we're actually out here. I didn't even think I would see my strike day because this has been a whole entire week. And I'm here, so I'm eager to see if it's going to continue on again and how much longer they're, going to have us out here like this before we know what is actually really going on.
Fair. I feel like there's been an awakening, though, in labor in the last couple of years. Actually, I would say from, I said earlier, starting midpoint Obama term up until now, there's sort of been a through line through the Bernie Sanders campaign, a lot of the things that he talked about, where I think labor's become more bold again. For a long time that they were not feeling bold, they were beaten down. They had union membership basically saying, we'll fight another day, giving into things. And finally, there's been a shift. And it's not just with the, auto workers, it's across the board. So do you feel the power of that?
I think it's exactly what you just said. They have the union wanting to stand up and fight another day, and now we're actually doing it. We're out here. They walked out. We're out here standing up for another day, and we're not going back to work until we get the justice for these sheep.
No justice, no Jeeps.
No justice,
I love this.
no Jeeps.
And that is a fact.
And that is fact.
Tell them, son.
No justice, no Jeeps. That's so funny. So what is your main thing that you want to see come out of the negotiations? I think Shawn Fain is pretty hardcore about demanding what he's demanding. He's a strong leader, obviously. But if you had to pick like 2 or 3 things that are the most important on his list, what would they be?
Come on, it's okay. Let her come.
Oh, look at this cutie.
My 2-year-old.
Hi. What's her name?
Aviana.
Hi, Aviana.
Say hello. Look, say hi.
Say hi to the camera. Can you say hi?
The main thing that I would like to see, I didn't like where it was for the TPTs. I started here in 2014, and I started off at $15.78, and it's basically still in the same. I think they brought it up to like $3 or about $4, and I've been here for 10 years. So what does that mean for a raise, you know, for me? And I have 2 kids, like I said. He was 2 years old when I started here. So I would like us to see the money we're supposed to be getting, and as far as the cost of living, you know, the expense to live, it goes up more and more, and you have children. So they need to meet our demands.
Right, and you know, we're talking to a lot of folks that are actually working second jobs, picking up second shifts in order to make ends meet. And you absolutely lose quality of life when you do that.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that Sean has brought up is a 32-hour work week, which is actually not uncommon in other parts of the world, like Europe, Denmark, Australia. You know, this is a 4-day work weeks aren't crazy, but in the American landscape, that seems like a crazy thing to ask for. But if you don't ask, you don't have a negotiating place to start with, right? So go ahead and ask for it. I think it's great. We would not have a 40-hour work week if it wasn't for unions.
For me,
that is a fact.
The father of my child, her dad, he also works at Jeep, but he is at a Detroit plant. His plant has not been shut down yet. So I am not one that can go get another job or Uber or anything, because I have a little one that I have to stay after at night. And even though he's pretty much old enough to take care of himself, I mean, mom still needs to be there. Yes.
Yeah, so. You know what? And you should be able to do that. That shouldn't be a crazy thing to expect out of life, in my opinion. No justice, no Jeeps. I'm going to be saying that all day now.
Yeah, you are. You'll keep hearing us say it too.
I need you guys.
No Jeeps.
I need to see a march now with everybody chanting that.
I can start that for you. Wait till the convoy right
comes back again. That is so funny. So, but that might change. That might change tomorrow with the new locations being added. Could be more Michigan locations. Could be other places in the Midwest too, outside of
I'm actually a Chrysler kid. My dad has been at Chrysler for 30-something years, and he's at Shep. So I feel like his plant will be the next one to shut down, because it's a big plant just like us. So that's why I expect to be next to the Shep plant.
Okay. And that's where's that? That's in Michigan?
Yes, that's in Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Sterling Heights. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So that's not that far from Detroit.
Nope, it's not that far.
Right on.
From here, it's probably about 45 minutes.
If you had one thing to tell the American public about why you guys are out here striking, what would that be?
Because we are standing for what we believe in. We are the ones that stand here, like you said. Look at my son's injury. This happened with him playing around. We injure ourselves building these $60,000 to $70,000 trucks every single day. And who really cares about that? They want these trucks built.
No, they do. You know, they do, and here's the thing. If they only want to pay you guys what you could make at a fast food restaurant, that seems crazy to me. Your work absolutely requires a skill set. It requires training. You just don't get up and running on these jobs overnight. So you would think they would be doing more to retain, you know, trained employees that are doing a good job. It's crazy to me that that's not happening.
This type of work could damage us for the rest of our lives. So we need the proper health care. We need to be able to take care of our children, and we need the proper wage to do what we got to do. Hi, baby Brad. There you go, another UAW baby pulling up.
Nice.
We are very serious about this, and when it comes to our kids, because some of us have started here with our children being very, very young. So that's one of my best friends.
It's a union family, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's bringing her kids up here just like I have mine. They need to be out here just like we are, because they know what it means to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
I hope you feel better. All right, one more time.
Huh?
What's your name?
No justice for Jeeps.
Justice for Jeeps. And that's a fact. We're not building no more until y'all give us what we want. And that's a fact. All right.
Right on. All right, I actually want to take a minute right now to talk about what happened. I'm going to read something. Hold on, let me pull this up. So we've had a couple of meltdowns on mainstream media. We obviously have the one that Jordan's referenced a couple of times, where Kramer on CNBC basically said that Sean Fain had been reading Trotsky, was sort of insinuating that, you know, union workers asking for a reasonable amount of pay is the same as being a militant communist. It's absolutely crazy. Let those guys go by. But, you know, Sean Hannity was talking with Tim Scott, I think this was yesterday or the day before, but I think it was yesterday. And during this interview, this live interview, some audience members actually booed when they brought up the 32-hour work week, which is really sad that any American worker would boo a union member trying to get better pay. Because if union workers get better pay, that raises all boats across the board. That's kind of an established fact of the matter. So careful there. That's all right. But one of the things that Tim Scott brought up, he has inadvertently, I think, endorsed some of the things that Sean Fain is saying, right? So Tim Scott went on to say that there was a facility that workers get a percentage of bonuses and increases based on their productivity. So if their work is highly productive and it brings money into the company, they get a bonus based on that. So, at a certain point, you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, you guys were just saying that, these guys are communists for asking for this, but now you're basically endorsing a common belief inside the union system, which is that we should be getting paid fair wages based on our productivity. We work really hard. We bring profits into the company. Without our labor, you would not have products to sell. That's a fact of the matter. And that labor has value. That labor is worth something, and we should be paid based on that. So it was kind of interesting that in an inadvertent way he was endorsing that talking point, and I don't think he realized he was doing it. So I wanted to bring that up. We will continue to keep our eyes on what a lot of the cable news shows are saying about the union strike and keeping tabs on that. But thus far, they've been very much on the side of corporate America, sort of regurgitating, old tropes about the economy, about how, increased wages will lead to more inflation. That's not true. The inflation that we're seeing right now is obviously disconnected from wage increases because wages are down. They're suppressed, and they have been suppressed for 2 decades. So if that was the case, we would have massive inflation for 2 decades. So it doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. So we have the Bronco convoy coming back around again. I think they're going to be...
Let people know if they're already a member of Status Coup, they could donate to the trip.
So good point John's making. We wanted to let folks know, even if you're already a member, these trips cost money. We've already spent, close to $4,000 being here this week. So, between paying for our equipment, hotel rooms, food, airfare, whatnot, the stuff adds up. So we would appreciate it if you could make any donations. We take them on our website is the easiest place to do it, statuscoup.com/donations. Also, please share this live stream. Like it, send us super chats. We will check in with those again in a minute. Any new members as well, if you have questions. So that was only partially of the convoy. I don't know what happened there. No.
I'm camera shy.
You're camera shy? What? All right. Let's see if we can find... That's right. I am definitely not camera shy. Would you like to talk to us? Yes? Yeah, that's fine. Right on. She's not camera shy. What is your name?
Rosalina Jackson.
Rosaline, thank you for talking with us. So you work here at the Jeep facility?
Yes.
How long have you been here?
With my best friend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
With the company since 2016.
Okay, so you're full-time?
Full-time employee, yes, full-time employee. I'm actually a transfer here from Belvedere.
Belvedere, okay. So what is one of your main sticking points?
More or less our hourly wage. A lot of people don't know what we do inside the plant.
That's right. In fact,
you know what? Cards we have to build a minute.
Can you talk about that? Because nobody has talked about that, and I think it's important for people to understand that you are absolutely skilled labor. What you do is difficult. You go through a lot of training to be able to operate this machinery. So walk us through some of that.
Our daily routine is 5:30. The line starts. We are all mandated to our jobs. Some people, they rotate hourly, or some people rotate 2 hours. It really depends on the team's duties. We actually build almost 3 cars per minute. So our line is very fast, precise to the gladiator side. We do repetition, daily repetition. So we deal with heavy handguns, screwing, hand screwing to start the job, or implementing parts on the job. So on a daily, we deal with bending over, lifting, picking up, all types of ergonomical issues that we have to deal with on our bodies on a daily. Some of us come in within 2-3 years, we have to have surgeries on our bodies. This is 10 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day that we have to do this on a daily. We're here more than we are with our families. So we feel like we do deserve to get a raise, not only on an economic basis, but as in labor basis and what we do inside this plant. We work hard for this company. Not only that, we bend over backwards for this company on a daily. And we're very union strong in the plant and outside here. Obviously, you can see the solidarity we're getting from everybody. But we do stick together. I believe that we do deserve our hourly pay, more or less than anything. I can fight for the retirees also. They were in here 30 plus years. They deserve what they deserve also. But I think more or less we really like to be where we should be in pay versus any other company,
Right, no, and I think that's reasonable. And also what I'm hearing is a lot of you guys really do like your jobs. You don't want to leave your job. You just think you should be paid a fair wage for doing what you love to do.
True. We do. We do love coming in here on a daily.
Talk to me.
Family. We're all family here, so we all been together for years. So,
talk to me a little bit about the training and how long it takes to get up to speed, like at your level of expertise at what you do.
I believe it's dependent on the person. Okay. But we are 4 hours of training a day for each job. So they do have the right to be on a job for 4 hours a day, to learn the job. But if it takes longer, you gotta shut up. If it takes longer, it takes longer. We really try to help everybody that comes into the doors who's never really been on a assembly plant. Most of us been on our teams for 10 plus years, so we know what it means to learn a job quick versus somebody walking through the door with our TPTs. We love our TPTs. We give them the most up power because they are in there as much as we are. They deserve what they deserve also.
So the TPTs are the temporary or supplemental, I guess they're now saying.
Supplemental employees. The supplemental employees. They do deserve what they deserve also because the simple fact that they work as much as we do.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're talking to these folks. They've been here 4 years, 7 years. How is that temporary? Obviously, that's not temporary. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I can't, really dish so much into that without, biting the guidelines. We have to be safe and sorry.
No,
on these
I got you. Don't tell us where the new locations are yet. We don't want. Well, it was kind of funny on CNBC. The Squawk Box guy was like, I have a list of the strike locations, and you read them online. Here they are. Absolutely.
None of the spots. They're not in none of the spots that they pick.
I was like, dude, if they gave you locations, they're messing with you. Come on. Are you serious? That kind of made me laugh.
Hopefully it all turns out, like everybody, this is a lawful strike. Yeah. And we just want fair wages and everything fair with us. We're not
protected free speech right
here. It
right?
is. It definitely is. Yeah. It is. So that's really, I don't think it's a lot we're asking for, but it's something that they should understand and look at what we do because they're not on the front line. We are.
Right. No. And thank you for talking to us about training and the work you guys do because I think one of the talking points corporate America puts out there is that it's not skilled labor. Why should they get higher wages? And this is obviously not true.
It's very skilled labor. Very skilled labor.
It's dangerous.
3 years into working for this company, I had to have surgery. So it's very skilled labor.
That guy's been driving around all morning.
Wasting all that good diesel gas.
You gotta love it. I cannot think of a better spend of diesel gas, actually.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat wants to know if you have paid time off.
Oh, good question.
That's a good question. Are you on sick leave or medical leave? We do have paid time off. If you do have a baby, maternity leave, it is paid time off. It is a certain percentage.
How many sick days do you get?
We get vacation and PA days. Sick days is a whole different category.
Okay, so basically personal days.
You have to have time in to get what you see what I'm saying? Yeah. To what we do, you know what I'm saying? It's not like right away. We do get stuff right away, but it's not what us hard workers come in here every day and work every day for. You see what I'm saying? Years didn't get you what you need,
I think sick days should become something of topic in this country. Because oftentimes that's what companies do. You get sick, you have to take vacation time or personal days while you're sick, and then you end up having no vacation time, which is outrageous. Everybody gets sick at some point. There's no way to avoid that.
There's no way to avoid it.
Yeah, so for a company to
Yeah, we do have a medical procedure to go about it with it, you know, but it is a step, so it is something that we have to take, based by.
Let's put that on the list. Let's Sean Payne, put that on the list. No justice, no Jeeps?
The White House announced maybe Biden or sending some staffers here. How would you feel about them visiting?
They should see how we are. I would not say no to it.
Okay, so the question it has to do with Biden saying he's possibly coming out to the strikers to talk to them. Cornel West, who is running as a Green Party member, is coming here. We've confirmed is coming out here next week. We'd love to interview him on the strike line if we'll still here while he's here.
I feel like they should come out. They should talk to us. They should hear what we got to say. I don't believe it's like something bad to do.
No, I don't think it's bad at all. I do think sometimes, though, a lot of politicians sort of give lip service to something, and then when it comes actually down to putting their words into action, nothing happens. Do you feel that that's been a common thread with both parties?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, politics are dicey, I get it. But
we got to stay out of politics.
I got you.
I got you. I'm not going to lie.
I got you.
One of our rules, stay out of the politics.
Well, no,
I
because
feel like everybody should come and see everything before they, and that's just in life in general.
Right.
It's just like making a story up without even knowing who the person is or what our hobbies are, what we do here, what our jobs are. You're just assuming. You know what I'm saying?
Assuming, and they're not listening
to
your stories, right? The reasons why you're out here on the picket line. There's a personal story attached to every single one of these individuals here. You aren't just out here because you have nothing better to do today.
True.
At all. Many of you are forgoing a paycheck right now to be doing what you're doing. I mean, yes, there's a strike fund, but there's definitely a burden that comes
with the strike fund. And it is. It's a very big burden. Yeah.
Politicians should respect that.
They should understand it.
Any parting words?
None at all. All I can say is, listen, we already know. No contract, no Jeeps.
No, wait. No justice, no Jeeps.
No contract, no Jeeps.
No contract. It has a little ring to it. All right, so yes. Oh. Because I was standing in the street and she was on the sidewalk. I need an apple box. Hello, Shantae.
Let's go.
Okay, are you the person that invented no justice, no Jeeps?
No,
because that is genius.
No, it's just a chant we do. I didn't invent it.
I love this chant. When I heard you guys chanting, I'm like, yeah, I know that one. So tell us why you're out here on the picket line.
Why we're out here on the picket line? We're just fighting for everything.
You personally, what's your story?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a generational Jeep employee. Yes, my mom works here. Has been here for a long time. My uncle's been here for a long time. So I kind of grew up in it.
Nice.
Just out here fighting for everything that they had in their time for us in our time. So then when my children and their children and my great-great-grandchildren, they can have everything that we lost in 2009.
Right. No, and you're not correct on this. So your parents made more money than you did adjusted for inflation. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, say that 5 times fast, you all have had a 20% decrease in your wages adjusted for inflation. So you are quite literally making less money than your mom and dad.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes, it is. We definitely are. And then there's even ones underneath us that came in after us that's making less than us. So we're trying to fight to end tiers all the way around, trying to get pension back, COLA back, just everything that we lost we're trying to gain. So.
And they have the money. Don't let them tell you otherwise. We have CEOs that are making outrageous sums of money, $29 million, $24 million. You hear these big pay scales. They've seen increases in their wages. They have not seen a decrease. They've seen a massive increase. Last year alone, I think 20%, 30%. Right. So the money is definitely there. Company's definitely profitable. So this is just greed. There's no other explanation for this. Or, they try to spin it as if you guys aren't skilled labor, you don't deserve higher. You hear all kinds of crazy stuff, and none of this is true, which is why we're out here talking to you folks. So what is your main thing in the contract that you'd like to see happen?
In tiers. That's major for me. I would like to see in tiers. I definitely would like to have a pension. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those two things are major for me. So would you? But in tiers, a wage increase, stability, knowing that we don't have to worry about us being packed up and moved. We seen that within our last contract. A lot of companies shut down. A lot of them left us. So, you know, stability.
Right. You know, that's true too. So post NAFTA, I'd say NAFTA was the beginning of that, where they've moved plants to Mexico. Now moving them to Vietnam, China, wherever else where they think they can find cheaper labor. It's become, that's what they're doing, and our government isn't stopping them. You know, Ford took out a loan recently, a large loan. There was nothing attached to that loan. If our government is going to give one of these automakers a loan, even when they're profitable and they don't need it, don't you think that should be attached to some strings? Meaning, like, you guys got to bring some jobs back to America.
To America, yes, I agree. I think everything should be brought in the U.S. We are a UAW company, so I feel like we should be working here. Our people should be here. Our families should be here.
So are your parents retired now?
No, my mom is still here, actually. She her day of striking was Tuesday. She'll be back out here again on Saturday.
Right on.
Yes.
So now we're going to see expansion of strike areas Friday, which is tomorrow. I can't believe it's Friday tomorrow already.
Yes.
So this is day 7.
Yes.
Tomorrow will be day. So there's going to be more facilities going on strike tomorrow. We don't know what they are yet. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like the fact that Sean is rolling it out this way, this new method that he's trying out where he's using it as leverage? If you guys don't come back to the table with substantial, we're going to keep adding locations. Do you think this is a good way to go about it?
I think he's very strategic. I think he's very smart. I think this is a new way to go about it. I'm hoping that we get something to the table tomorrow that stops anyone else from having to walk out or be out here like us. We went through cold days. We went through hot days. You know, it's a struggle being here at nighttime when your family's at home. But we bring our families out here with us. If we have to, we make it work. So I hope that they, you know, Stellantis, Ford, GM, bring something to the table to where more families don't have to come out and pick it like us.
Indeed. In fact, they're probably talking right now, negotiating right now. They might do that.
Right.
I don't know. I'm thinking probably not. I don't think it's painful enough for them yet.
Right.
They're digging their heels in a little bit more, I think. But I think they will come around to a lot of what you guys are asking for because it is reasonable. They might scream and yell that it's not reasonable, that it's not tenable, but it truly is. So what other things would you like to share with America about why you guys are out here on strike? I feel like, you know, oftentimes with the media, people get the corporate messaging, they get why the CEOs are pissed off, they get the CNBC guys yammering on about this, that, or the other, but they rarely get to hear from you folks, the workers.
I think a lot of people haven't noticed that everywhere else they've got a wage increase. We haven't got a wage increase. Everyone else has increased through inflation. UAW has yet to move up, or the big three, through inflation. So I also think that if we can fight to get this win and we can move up, it leaves room for everyone else to move up also.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we're in the middle of awakening of labor in the country. We've had recently, you know, Amazon has now unionized one of their two facilities now, I guess. Starbucks is going through a unionization process. So labor is like saying enough is enough. It's time for us to get back some of the things that we've given away over the last couple of decades. You know, another thing I just learned was that the temp workers don't get health care. That's outrageous.
So the temp workers do get health care. They don't get dental and vision.
Okay, wait, so somebody else told us otherwise.
So no, they get health care. They don't receive dental and vision. I believe they should also have dental and vision. They work the same amount of hours as us, or sometimes less, but they're still here on the same line doing the same thing. That's part of our no tiers. All of us are one. We're all working here the same hours. We're all doing the same jobs. We should all have the same pay, same insurance, everything all around the board.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. Thank you for talking with us. Appreciate it.
All right,
and let's get one.
No justice, no Jeeps.
I really love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's great.
Thank you.
So no justice, no Jeeps. I love this because it's a take on a protest chant. No justice, no peace, right? No justice, no Jeeps. So basically they're saying unless we get justice in our contracts, we get a fair share, fair pay, you know, COLA, the things that we need just to have a reasonable life, we're going to stop building those Jeeps. I'm going to check to see if we have any super chats, whatnot. Colin, did you send me any super chats? I think so. I have a bunch of text messages here. All right, let's see. No. Colin, are there any super chats? I don't see anything from you. All right, so maybe we don't have more super chats? If we do, we will get to them, I promise. And if we don't get to them today, I will absolutely read them tomorrow. We appreciate your donations. We appreciate you joining up as members. You are what fund our trips out here. We would not be here today if it wasn't for you folks. We obviously don't get corporate money coming in, so...
No, we might be live later tonight around 8 back in Wayne.
Right, okay, so we are going to go back up to Wayne, Michigan, to the picket line up there. If there's some action going on there, we're going to go live again later tonight from Wayne. Tomorrow, Sean Fain is going to be announcing the new locations on his Facebook Live. We are going to monitor that. My intention tomorrow is to be able to get to all of the new locations if possible. Obviously, if they're in far-flung locations, we won't be able to do that, but definitely some of them. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that, and keep your eye posted to see if we are going live from Wayne, Michigan at 8 o'clock possibly. If not, we'll just probably record some stuff. So I think that's it. We've been here. We've talked to just about everybody that will talk to us. We got the convoy of Broncos coming down here, giving some solidarity and support. And you've heard firsthand from these workers why they are out there forgoing their jobs right now and striking. They want, a reasonable amount of money just to be able to get by. So thanks for joining us. I'm Tina Desiree Berg, and we will maybe see you guys tonight at 8 o'clock or tomorrow. I'm good.
Do you want us to do a no justice, no Jeep chant for you?
Yes.